Hi guys. So excited. I think this is I'm gonna think about this episodically. This is probably episode one, right? Just want to say I really appreciate folks for checking this out, folks that are supporting on Patreon. Really appreciate it. Got a lot of stuff still to figure out, but wanted to start getting some content made. So uh, somewhere in reference to me. I'm sure you saw a title that sort of gave you this information, but we're going to look at two songs. I'm going to play two songs today. One is called The Patriot Game. The following is With God on Our Side. These are two connected songs, and we'll get into that. The older song, the one we'll start with, is The Patriot Game. And this was a song written by Dominic Behan, who was an Irish playwright, poet, musician. Uh, his family had a brother who was another famous poet, sister as well. And Behan was a staunch, Republican, a staunch socialist through his whole life. His father had been involved in the Easter Uprising, 1916, and his mother was involved as well. He wrote this song in 1964 after a botched raid in the border campaign. The border campaign were the troubles before the troubles, as it were, um, of just sectarian conflict between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. And Beam was in probably about 27 around this time, 26, 27, and two men were killed, young, Sean South and Fergal O'Hanlon, who is named in the song, was only 20, had just turned 20. And it really shook Dominic and caused him to really evaluate the struggle, right? With the IRA was leading, and not in sort of in many ways, but the break, right, that led him to leaving the IRA was the sense that the struggle had been betrayed, right? That the struggle had been had become misguided. Believed that the abandonment of the socialist struggle in connection to the national struggle was disastrous ultimately, and had led to just the deaths of Sean and Fergal and so many others, right? And Dominic would offhand several times sort of recant this quote, not recant, would just reference this quote by James Connolly, who was a visionary of the Irish Citizen Army, the Socialist Republican struggle for a unified state of Ireland, who was killed, right, in the Easter Uprising. And it goes, after Ireland is free, says the patriot who won't touch socialism, we will protect all classes, and if you won't pay your rent, you will be evicted the same as now. But the evicting party under command of the sheriff will wear green uniforms, and the harp without a crown, and the warrant turning you out on the roadside will be stamped with the arms of the Irish Republic. And by and large, that is the state, right, of the Irish Republic in this day. And so Dominic's distance from the IRA struggle as it exists, and frankly its current form to this day, I don't think it's off. National liberation of an oppressed people is not going to amount to much when you replace one oppressor class with another, right? It was true in Haiti, it was true in Ireland. It's been true all around the world where folks haven't had the clarity to understand class struggle. But all that to say, I'm going to sing the song. I'm including a verse that is omitted in almost every popular recording, which involves directly referencing the border raid, because the raid was on a police constabulary. It was a shootout, and when you hear it, you'll probably see why most conventional recordings leave it out. And there's also a man who's referenced, De Valera. I'm not going to get into the whole history, but De Valera ended up serving as not the president, but like the first head of state of the Irish Republic after the uprising. He had survived Easter Rising, ultimately maneuvered himself forward, and he was he's named in this song because he is one of these folks who just completely abandoned the struggle for the liberation of working folks, for this conservatism, an Irish conservatism, an Irish reactionary state, frankly. So let's get into it, and then we'll go over with God on our side. Oh, wait 1 second. I needed to do this. Sorry, y'all. Great. And here we go. Come all you young rebels, and list while I sing. For the love of one's land is a terrible thing. It banishes fear with the speed of a flame, and makes us a part of the Patriot's game. Oh, my name is O'Hanlon, I've just gone 16. My home was in Munyan, and there I was weaned. I learned all my life of cruel England to blame, and now I'm a part of the Patriot game. It's barely a year since I wandered away with the local battalions of the bold IRA. I read of our heroes and wanted the same, to play up my part in the Patriot's game. This Ireland of mine has for long been half free. 6 counties live under John Bull's tyranny, yet still De Valera is largely to blame for shirking his part in the Patriot game. They tell me how Conley was shot in his chair, his wounds from the fighting all bleeding and bare, his fine body twisted, all shattered and lame. Why, they soon made me part of Patriot game. I don't mind if I shoot down those goddamn police. They're lackeys for war, never guardians of peace. And yet our deserters I'll never take aim. The rebels who sold out the Patriot game. And now as I lie here, my body all holds, I think of those traitors who bargained and sold. I'm sorry my rifle has not done the same to the traitors who sold out the Patriot game. Come all you young rebels, enlist while I sing. For the love of one's land is a terrible thing. It banishes fear with the speed of a flame, and makes us a part of the Patriot game. So, it's a song that, there's just some really wonderful covers of it. I really recommend folks hop on YouTube, Spotify, listen through a couple, but this underlining message, right, that the martyrs in the struggle, right, the folks who gave everything, in this belief of a free Ireland, right? And a free Ireland, not in the sense of a free Ireland, but a free Ireland that was free, not just of British rule, but could feed their families, that knew there was security for their mothers and fathers, for their children, right? This is what was sold out, right, to the Patriot game, right? This lie of patriotism alone being the salvation of people is not enough. And James Connolly, was dying after the Easter Rising. Couldn't walk, couldn't speak. And the British dragged him out and stuffed him in a chair and shot him. Cruel. Well, the song was a big hit. The song was a big hit, and along on the other side of the pond was a man named Bob Dylan, who in these episodes is going to pop up now and then. I actually should probably do just a video entirely on Bob. But Bob Dylan wrote a song called With God on Our Side. Amazing song. I'll give him that credit. The best version I've ever heard is not his, but by Odetta. I really encourage folks to go out and listen to the version by Odetta. And in traditional fashion with Bob Dylan, he claimed that the song was an original composition. Bien took this very personally and said that he had stolen the melody. Bob also parodies the first lines of the Patriot game in his, as we'll hear in just a minute. And just, it's not the plagiarism, right? Because plagiarism is frankly a ruling class word that doesn't really mean things. All people plagiarize. Pete Seeger and Woody Guthrie, all have some really great riffs talking about this, right? People borrow from one another, cultures you forget lyrics, you want to tell a song, so it spins out into your own creation. It's a full process, right? But give credit, right? Give credit where it's due. Because that way we can see the deep connections that we have with one another. That's one of the important things. But Dylan has some notoriety with this. And there's sort of a legend that in like 68 or 69, Dylan was touring in the UK and being found out, and he called up Dylan and went on, like, just, bitched him out. And Dylan and his very cool Jadwood was like, my lawyers can talk to your lawyers, man. And being, you can imagine, the thick brogue, was saying, I've got 2 lawyers and they're at the end of my wrists. And Bob probably hung up the phone. But it is, it's an anti-war song. It's a good anti-war song. I have just, I really love it a lot. And I think it's a song that we should, there's a lot of songs that Dylan wrote that we ought to listen to, thinking about the perspective of the unity of the poor and dispossessed, right? So, with that said, let's get into it. Alrighty. It's also a little bit longer. Oh, my name, it ain't nothing. My age, it means less. The country I come from, they call the Midwest. I was told and brought up there, belongs to a bind. And the land that I live in has God on its side. Oh, the history books tell it, they tell it so well. The cavalry's charged, then the Indians fell. The cavalry's charged, and the Indians died. The country was young with God on its side. The Spanish-American War had its day. Then the Civil War too was soon laid away. But the names of those heroes I was soon made to memorize, with guns in their hands and God on their side. The First World War, boys, it came and it went. The reasons for fighting I'll never quite get, but I've learned to accept it with pride. For you don't count the dead when God's on your side. The Second World War, then it came to an end. We forgave the Germans, and then we were friends. Though they murdered 6 million in their ovens they fried. But the Germans now too have God on their side. I learned to hate Russians all through my life. When another war comes, then it's them we must fight. To hate and to fear them, to run and to hide, and accept it all bravely with God on my side. But now we've got weapons of the nuclear dust. If fire 'em we're forced to, and fire 'em we must. One push of a button and then shot the world wide. Why you never ask questions when God's on your side? For many dark hours I've been thinking about this, that old Jesus Christ was betrayed by a kiss. But I can't think for you, so you'll have to decide whether Judas Iscariot had God on his side. So now as I'm leaving, I'm weary as hell. The confusion I'm feeling ain't no tongue can tell. The words fill my head and they fall to the floor. That if God was on our side, he'd stop the next war. On my name it means nothing, my age means less. The country I come from is called the Midwest. I was taught and brought up with the laws to abide, and the land that I live in has God on its side. So, pretty good. Pretty good song in my estimation. Another song that, the root of it, I think, is still asking the same consideration of Dominic's original song, right? Which is what is the lie? What is one of these key lies that serves not us, none of us, right, of the poor and dispossessed, but serves the interests of the ruling class, right? And so, the Patriot game, this lie is this lie of patriotism. Specifically, the sectarian struggle, this nobility of the sectarian struggle, right? That turns out generation after generation of young, working class, poor and dispossessed Irish folks giving their lives senselessly in this national struggle without a deeper and broader sense of what they're fighting for. And in Dylan's song, right? God bless you and God bless every American. God bless America, right? It's hard, or it's it's easier to get away with the crimes of this empire, right? When they're distant and when we believe that God is with us. And that is an old story of the ruling class manipulating folks. And, you know, the American experience is certainly a well-carried execution of that lie. But I think I might end it there, though I'm tempted to say something more uplifting. Yeah, to end on a more positive note, right? This is why we have these songs, right? This is some of this power of music, of poetry, of arts, of working class, poor and dispossessed people crafting their own artistic expression, right? Is because we can cut through the veil, right, with things like these songs. You know, cut through the mental fortresses of the ruling class. Yeah. All right, y'all. So I hope the audio was good. I'm going to check this out, get this uploaded. But all right, much love. Bye, folks.